Now, why I want to talk about the history about IoT is simply to let you know the subject and also let you realize that this is not something new. This is not something that has just happened. The roots of IoT goes back to 1832, if you look back at the history. What allowed us to evolve is the continuous technology improvement, continuous innovation. As people who want to improve our lifestyles, let's have a look at what's the future going to be. Now, looking at the future, I really don't want to look 10 years, 15 years ahead, but I just want to look at the next 6 years and predict what's going to happen. All right, so based on what we have seen, we agree that IoT is at a good state, but not at the optimal state. Some of the challenges that we face in today's world to adopt IoT goes into multiple areas. Number one is a security. I spoke to one of my colleagues just before coming up here, and he's going to touch on the privacy, also a bit of security. Now, security has been the biggest concern, biggest challenge or the threat that we have in adopting IoT technology into our lives and corporates. Why? Simply because from the time the internet was evolved, we have grown so much on the traditional cybersecurity platforms and ways and applications, protocols, etc. Fact that the IoT wasn't so much focused from the time it was invented, the internet was invented, there are a lot of loopholes. Example, I remember this story. One of the young guys who is really good at music, who is also a tech geek, realizes the potential of Napster. Raise your hands if you have heard of Napster. It's a platform, subscription-based musical platform where people can go and purchase their audio tracks. What this guy does is, he sees the potential and then he tries to hijack the network. Only thing that he does is he accesses the network through the Wi-Fi. He finds out how to hack the Wi-Fi network and get into the platform. And once he gets in, one thing he does is this. He inserts 2 of his new audio tracks into famous artist albums. And the people subscribes, they start listening and they see that there are 2 new tracks which don't carry the proper author details and the musician details, but they really love it. And this goes viral and he gets famous. Then they find out that this guy, smart guy, has bypassed the security, put those audio files into the network of Napster, and then push these contents to the subscribers forcefully. So this is kind of the state where we are in terms of the security, and it does not allow you to do much great things, right? The other thing is, with these security concerns, we also face a lot of privacy concerns. That essentially means, whenever I go into any particular place, when I carry any particular device in today's world, privacy is being compromised. The biggest threat we have at this moment is our mobile. Google, Facebook tracks us. That's okay, but what's the limit? Do I want to see that Google is tracking all my details? Does my company tracks all my details? There's a limit. The concern is whether the boundary line is right. So without that, it's absolutely difficult for us to evolve this technology for betterment of the humans. On the other hand, the networks and the protocols which are already available are not so much supporting IoT implementations. They are built for the traditional cybersecurity networks and platforms, therefore they don't suit very well into the IoT platforms. So with that, one of the research agencies, companies called Deloitte, did a great research. They invested a lot of hours, surveyed many people, thousands of people, and found out that there are 5 major problems that we need to focus on. And then they came up with a report saying there are 5 major vectors in progress. So if you are someone investing on IoT, If you're someone who thinks IoT is the future, if you're someone who thinks IoT can benefit you, your personal life, organization, I strongly recommend that you look into these 5 vectors. Before that, let's quickly run on this. So this is actually the prediction, quickly to run through 41.6 billion connected IoT devices or things, generating 79 zettabytes of data in 2025. 2 to 3 billion more people with access to the internet, 5 to 7 trillion potential economic impact by 2025 of automation of knowledge work. So that's another thing, automation becomes a bigger thing for all of us. 1.5 million driver-caused deaths from car accident in 2005, potentially addressable by autonomous vehicles. And autonomous vehicles are already in the market. That can really benefit us. 16% potential share of solar and wind in global electricity generation by 2025. These are great stuff. These are the 5 vectors that you got to focus. If you are a technical entrepreneur or a person who is really keen in adopting IoT in your business setting. Number 1, security. So what is the biggest threat we have? One major problem we face is the devices are not built the way they can securely communicate. So ideally, what the experts suggest is that we need to implement the security at the edge, right? That essentially means some sort of security needs to be somewhere closer to the end user. This avoids bypassing or hijacking the communication between the device and the cloud network. Our way forward will have to be embedding some security capabilities into the devices itself, which makes much difficult for the hackers and people who want to come and interfere between the devices and the network harder. All right, so now let me quickly run through the next one. That is another vector that you got to focus on. What does a platform do? It allows your devices, application, and network to communicate. And most of these platforms, today's platforms, are trying to support the IoT companies to develop their applications in a much smoother, faster, and effective way. How do they do that is enabling 2 things. Number 1, horizontal capabilities. That essentially means allowing the companies who are investing on IoT to have variety of applications. You can spread your implementations on multiple segments, business segments, right? You can also do a lot of varieties of applications. So that is the horizontal growth. So they are investing a lot of energy and effort in doing so. The second thing is vertical. What does that mean? There are certain vertical capabilities that are being added. So that is basically done through pre-integrated sensors, devices, analytics, and other components. So you can see that big platforms like Google Cloud IoT and Azure IoT platform, what they try to do is to add much capability so that the IoT development firms can go deeper vertically and enhance their development experience. And as technology and business leaders, how could we take advantage of this? I think the biggest success factor is to pick the right platform and right capabilities. So if you are into this, my recommendation is that look into the platforms available, pick the right one. That will allow you to expand your exposure in this. Number 3, this is another game-changing vector that you need to keep your eyes on, the network capabilities. So if you look back, when we started investing ourselves into the internet technologies, we were concerned about the WAN, wide area networks, and that is still the case. But in terms of implementing IoT, that's not sufficient enough. You need to ensure that low power, wide area networks are in place. What it does is, it allows you to interconnect your devices and the applications through low bandwidth, low power devices. Now, this also addresses some of the security concerns. So when you try to use a WAN, it has a lot of security compromising because your devices and cybersecurity platforms are not scalable and meant for longer. They need high power. When that is the case, right, the power will go off very soon and your security is hugely compromised in that case. And this is an area which is growing widely, providing connectivity at low power, low cost requirements. So if we are to do great in IoT, I personally think we need to invest a lot of time experimenting low power wide area networks and finding the possibilities of putting down the cost as well as the power needed to operate within IoT settings. The fourth one is an interesting one, AI. This is a big need. If we are to work on IoT related technologies and invest money on IoT, we need to ensure that we have to invest our energy and money on AI related. Two trending technologies that have to be incorporated are, number one, machine learning, second, computer vision. I think that's the way we can ensure that we have the right AI capabilities in our devices and applications we built in IoT. In an IoT network, what we are trying to do is this, right? We have multiple devices spread globally or in our geography. We are trying to gather the data and then process them. One of the challenges the manufacturers and the development firms find is to do that effectively. Can we gather the data, manipulate them, and analyze them effectively to do the right actioning? And what's the latency? Particularly when we use cloud-based implementations, it has a bigger latency which will not suit certain situations. Example, in a security perspective, if you want to monitor a city, right, watch for certain unethical activities and ensure that as soon as some suspicious activity happens, you want to avoid it, right? When you try to transfer the data into the cloud and backward to the given device and the location to avoid such crime, the latency won't really help. So what the experts say is that you got to create the devices with AI capabilities and probably with capabilities of machine learning and computer vision that allows these devices to work standalone to produce the right action. This potentially can be used in use cases like process optimization, predictive maintenance, right? And this is going to be really, really useful if you get the AI capabilities into our applications. The last one that I'm going to talk about is this, analytics. Now, this is another problem. In terms of analytics, we are talking about a lot of data, big data, that is collected through all these things, right? Where we are trying to manipulate them and then do some meaningful actions. In that process, there's a delay, as we discussed. There can be latency due to the network traffic, the distance between the device and where it's being processed. So we need to reduce that. And analytics will allow to generate real-time alerts and insight. Like what I said, right? If you consider a smart city where you want to monitor the activities and then take quick actions, these analytics will really, really help and will be a mandatory requirement. And this also, if you have the capability of having the data stored and analyzed at the edge, that means closer to the devices, this will also save a lot of money for the transmission, data transmission, and storage. And it's a big cost, trust me. So these things will allow you to make profit and then do the right thing. All right, so going towards the last few slides, I want to draw your attention on something very, very important. While we are talking about IoT, let's not forget our intention. As business leaders, technology leaders, tech entrepreneurs, we want to do great in whatever we do, whether it's your personal life or your business. Now, in that, I posted this question in my LinkedIn and asked the people, what do you think A, B, C, and D would be? And if you look here, we started IT craftsmanship a few decades ago. Then we moved into IT industrialization. From there, we are in a world of digitalization. And in that, we focus on few things. What are the things that we focus? Number one, business models. We think having the right business model will allow you to do great. And then we think the most important capability as leaders is leadership. That is digital leadership. And we want to treat our colleagues as our partners. And we are trying to engage with our customers as much as we can. That's where our lean and agile comes into play. And we try to produce innovation and new types of value. If you think the next 6 years, we're going to focus on few things, right? I think it's mainly on automation. IoT and all the other technologies will help you to get there. And our focus is digital platforms. We are thinking of design thinking. Whatever we do, I think we are focusing on design thinking. We try to treat the things as colleagues. We trust them too much at times. And our intention is to optimize value, and of course, we create new problems with all this. So my ask to conclude this note is simply, let's embrace IoT, let's embrace technology, let's value it, but let's not forget that human connection is the most important thing among everything else. Thank you.